you're watching Overdrive. Now, the Hero Xtreme 160R 4V and the Yamaha FZS version 4.0 are motorcycles that have been in the country for over a decade, and we decided to bring the latest iteration of these motorcycles just to find out how relevant they are in today's day and age.
It's not only change, but it's also evolution that has become a necessity in today's world if you want to stay relevant, and especially if you're a motorcycle manufacturer that caters to the 160cc motorcycle segment, and you have two products that have been around for more than a decade. Now, to my left is the Yamaha FZS version 4, and on my right is the Hero Xtreme 160, a 4-valve. Now, both these motorcycles are not in direct competition with each other, fairly so they're similarly priced, but we're here to find out today which one brings what to the table and which one suits you best. So, let's get right to it.
In the looks department, both these motorcycles look a lot beefier than ever before, with the 160R coming across as the more performance-focused machine, which it actually is. It was the way things were originally meant to be with the old CBC back in the good old days. Now this top-end Pro variant comes with a chunkier front KYB fork, which can't go unnoticed, while the lower standard and connected variants get the regular telescopic fork at the fore. Braking setup on all variants includes disc brakes on both wheels. The feature list across the Xtreme 160R 4-valve variants comprises full LED lighting, a digital instrumentation cluster, single-channel ABS, and a side stand engine cutoff function. The connected variants benefit from an eSIM and works in tandem with your smartphone to send out accident-related alerts, security functions, location of the vehicle, turn-by-turn navigation, and more. Surprisingly, the Pro variant though misses this module. Instead, it gets a basic Bluetooth function that displays call and message alerts. The Yamaha FZS version 4 looks like it's been going to the gym and beefed up quite a bit over the last decade. Some might think it's even developed a hunchback looking at that enormous fuel tank. The colors on there are all new, including on the wheels, and that adds to the premium feel of this particular bike. The reverse LCD display on there is bigger and easier to read than on the version 3 model, and you do get Bluetooth connectivity now, which will alert you to calls, messages and other notifications, but no options for navigation. There's no gear position indicator, which I guess is alright, but I definitely miss that eco light being on there, which always gave me that feeling that I was somehow doing something good for a reason. The FZS V4 also gets a traction control system, which is a bit odd because, well, it doesn't really make all that much power to justify being on there.
Alright, so for me, the best parts about the Hero Xtreme 160, well, this 4-valve version, well, obviously, first of all, the build quality, from switchgear to the actual fit and finish of the overall vehicle, obviously a step up for Hero in this particular segment, and also a major plus point has to be that 163.2 single cylinder and air-cooled engine. Good amount of power and torque as well. It makes more than what the Yamaha has to offer at this point. It makes around 16.9 PS of max power and around 14.6 Nm of max torque. Very nice and lively out on the road and very easy to manage as well.
The Hero engine feels very nice and punchy. The 4-valve model breathes and performs a lot cleaner now, and that's something that some of the Xtreme models in the past lacked. The riding posture is upright with minimal weight on your palms, while the rear set foot pegs adds a touch of sportiness to the mix. The seat cushioning is dense and should be good for longer stints in the saddle. Now the suspension out here, well, it's on the stiffer side, which goes well with Hero's overall sporty aesthetic. Good for getting a feel of the bike while riding fast, and everything is nice and refined till around 75 to 80 kmph in top of 5th gear. Anything over that and it begins to feel out of place really. But when you want to take it easy, things can get a bit uncomfortable because you will feel every small undulation on the road jolt your spine. Having a pillion aboard does help otherwise, and you will have to tweak the preload adjustable rear suspension if you're traveling solo.
Now the best parts about the Yamaha FZS, well, version 4, for me have to be, first of all, the ride and handling, well, the ergonomics of it all, because it's very upright, very easygoing, not too aggressive and very comfortable. Out on the highway as well, this riding position should be very comfortable. The engine, of course, that bulletproof 149cc single cylinder engine, only air cooled out here, and it makes a total of around 12.4 PS of max power and 13.3 Nm of max torque, which is a lot more modest than what the output is on the Hero 4-valve version. But then again, very easygoing, nice and decent for the city. Also, it's lighter, so handling in the city, in traffic, well, it's a real breeze with this one.
So the Yamaha is a spacious and very easy bike to ride overall. At first, well, the suspension does appear to be quite firm in this factory setting, which is great for when you're riding up to a speed of around 80 kmph, just like the Hero. But then again, you will get used to it because it does deliver a more comfortable ride over all sorts of surfaces, all throughout, which is great because, well, this was always a huge plus point with the earlier models of the FZS. The bike does take a wider line to take a complete turn though, which is a bit of a bother whilst making past traffic at a signal.
Over the last 10 years, both these motorcycles, the Yamaha FZS and the Hero 160, have evolved substantially in the last 10 years. But then for me, with the Yamaha, it seems to be more of an aesthetic more than functional aspect, because although it is a very comfortable motorcycle to ride, well, it isn't the most interesting because it still makes a modest amount of power. It is very comfortable, but this doesn't cut it for me given the 1,27,000 asking price, like showroom of course. But in this company out here today, for me, it has to be the Hero Xtreme 160, well, the 4-valve, because primarily it offers a lot more in terms of features. It is the more interesting motorcycle to ride. It is more lively, and of course, you have three options, three trim levels to choose from the standard to the connected and this top-end Pro variant. But unfortunately, this top-end Pro variant, the only downside for me is that it doesn't get the connectivity options that comes with the mid-spec variant.
With that, it's a wrap on this week's edition of Overdrive. But remember, you can stay in touch with the team through our various social media platforms, and you can drop in a comment on our YouTube channel as well. We'll see you next week. Until then, drive and ride safe.